Okay, so I'm going to be doing a VOD review for MaugaXD. Unfortunately, the first time I tried to record this, I recorded about an hour of footage, and it didn't record the audio for whatever reason, so I'm going to redo this somewhat and skip the first round. I just feel like the we don't really lose anything by skipping the round anyways, so um, no super invaluable information, so excuse me. Anyways, I obviously have watched the entire thing before, and I think primarily what you struggle with is mitigating damage and using cover effectively. Right, so Roadhog is a really big character. He has no armor and no real great damage mitigation, and is super vulnerable to stuns and whatnot. So you really have to be playing close to cover at like pretty much all times, right? The second thing I want you to worry about, work on, is your positioning, right? Um, you do not play in positions to deny the enemy team value, nor do you play in positions where you are the most, I guess, deadly. You really want to control certain players, and I'll like demonstrate this in the replay, obviously. But people who are getting value, you really want to like deny them angles in the first place, right? And I guess the third thing I want you to worry about, / work on, is target priority. You shoot the enemy tank a lot. This is problematic, especially as Roadhog, because they're the hardest to kill. Pretty much, every time you have hook as Roadhog, you can get a kill, right? Every 6-7 seconds or whatever. Land a hook, just kill a squishy, right? Obviously, sometimes if you play like near a death pit or something, you can just insta kill tanks or just dragging them far enough away from their team or body blocking them also sometimes kills them. Right, but if you have better opportunities, you should go for those. Yeah, play from here. Oh, one more thing I'll say. I believe you're duoed with your Brig. This isn't really super important, but I do not think Brig and Roadhog are particularly good together. They really have no serious synergy. I don't really think this is going to be a problem per se. It's just something to note. I'll leave it at that. It's really not that important, especially at the plat diamond level. So. Okay, so first on Roadhog on this map, right? Remember I said the positioning thing. Take a guess of where you're the most dangerous, right? On point, or how about over here, standing right next to a death pit, right? On this map, you always want to go left side or the high ground side, depending on your spawn, right? Because you can insta-kill literally the entire cast if you play correctly, just by dragging them off the map, right? So there's really no reason not to go this side in general as like any tank except maybe a Doom or a Ball, just because they're so mobile, right? And another reason you want to go top is because it prevents their hit scans from taking probably the most important, impactful angle on the map, right? It also prevents their team from just running into yours, right? It's kind of like a power position. By standing here, you force everyone to take a much worse angle, right? The Ashe has to play all the way back here, which isn't like horrible for her, but it's not the greatest, right? And forces everyone else, assuming you have hook, to play like all the way back here so they don't have to risk getting one shot, right? But by playing over here, no one's really in risk of dying to you. No, everyone's out of your range, and they're not really losing any sight lines to you. And this is kind of the problem with your positioning right here. You always want to consider how many people can have LOS of you. Right now, 3 people have LOS on you, right? Your teammates can't help you. Not quite yet. But then you have to pick it. You can't like stop any damage here, right? Your only option is to go here, in which case they can still shoot you from up here, but then you can't contest point, right? If you decide to like go all the way back here, so like you're really not doing anything here. And another problem, especially in the Roadhog mirror, is if this guy hooks you, you get insta-killed. If you hook him, he can just do this, right? Again, cover usage thing here. You shouldn't be here in the first place, and you probably shouldn't hook this guy. But you hook him, and now you're just standing out in the open. So, like, you cannot do anything to stop this hook except hoping he misses. Even if he misses, you're still gonna get blown up. Because again, you're just in the middle of so many people's LOSs. Look how many angles they have on you, right? They pretty much, like, completely surround you, right? This is not what you want to happen to Roadhog. Roadhog is not a tank that can run in and just get value by, like, just standing on point, right? You're actually not very tanky. You're more so after the rework than you were beforehand, but you still can die very quickly, even without insta kills, right? Because you're so vulnerable to CC. You have no armor, no shields, no block stats. So.
The objective is
Okay, something important in the Roadhog mirror in particular. If you know where the hog is, right? You have like kind of three options. One, you jiggle peek and try to bait out a hook, right? Two, you just kind of walk in. This is kind of really dangerous. Or three, you try to surprise hook him around the corner, right? Just jump or something and swing out the corner as fast as possible, hook him in, right? You want to be mixing up these options and never be too predictable, right? The safest thing, obviously, is to jiggle peek and try to bait out hook, which I probably do, you know, the vast majority of the time. But sometimes you can catch people off guard by doing one of the other two options, right? Because they will catch on and just like stop looking at you more or less, or stop paying too much attention to you if you just sit in a corner and jiggle peek all day, right? And this is the problem, again, with like your cover usage. Let me show you from his POV how exposed you are here, right? He actually hits a good pre-hook, but even if he didn't, I'll go in the free cam a bit here. Just stand right here, right? You're literally just like standing there waiting for him to peek, but he has pretty much the advantage if he's the one peeking into you, right? Sometimes, right? Instinctually, if you get hooked far away from your team, your instinct should be to turn away from the Roadhog, face down, and hold your breather to get out, right? This is because you won't take headshot damage. You're way harder to headshot when you do that, right? If you stay and fight him, he should be in the, like, close to his team. I don't know why his Tracer's going for like some ridiculously long. I don't know what she's doing. If she were playing with your hog, with her hog here, you could have easily died, or gotten even, like, maybe not easily died, but you would have gotten significantly lower. Unfortunate. But you see, you're not really doing anything, and this isn't because like your aim's bad. They have too much healing, right? If you miss hook, you gotta keep like trying to look for some other position, right? I think what I would do in this situation is either keep going right side or just go straight to point. Because you have this pick, right? Your team's hyper aggressing on their supports. You know, their Tracer's in the middle of nowhere, right? I mean, you can't necessarily know that, but you need to do something when you get a pick, right? You can't just stand around. You need to rotate somewhere and not just keep spamming them from long range. Good hook there. I'm sure you can see how dangerous. Like, look how wide you're peeking this angle, though. If he were looking at you, right? Look how far away you are from cover here. From his perspective, you're the one that's in danger, not him. You cannot break the hook by jiggle peeking at this point, right? You have to take these corners a lot more carefully against Roadhog. This is a good kill here, though. Okay, I think it's okay to cap point, but really, ideally, you should be looking to go forward here because you just killed pretty much their entire team, right? Another important thing on Roadhog, like that positioning thing, right? You always need to think of where you need to back up to, right? Should you get pushed? If you go this way, you get stuck on point, and you saw earlier that was really bad. Consider switching up, going to point, coming like right here. Now no one can push this door without getting thrown in the pit, and if they peek this angle, no problem, right? Now you're just LOSing them. And if they try to push greedily, no problem. You just hook them in the pit, right? When you're here and they push you, you have to. Your only choice is to run back to point and get stuck in the middle of like everyone and give up all this space over here, right? And another cool thing about playing over here, if you hook someone, you can jump backwards and put them down here, and now they just literally cannot run away without dying. Okay, once you see Tracer recall, that pretty much means she can't commit anymore, right? She's no longer a character with 350 health. She only has 175, right? She cannot hard commit when she doesn't have recall. So just ignoring her even slightly faster. Don't even look for her, right? She can't really. I think you could turn this guy further to the left and eat less damage here. This is a good hook here. You obviously didn't expect it. You did a good job of body blocking him, so good kill. Okay, so your instinct here should not be to back up, right? You just killed their tank. You should keep aggressing. Even though you're low, it's just the Tracer shooting you, right? If you get hard pushed, then you back up. Good hook on their Tracer. Here, obviously don't ult. Bob doesn't have the tank damage knockback resistance, so he's just gonna fly away and keep doing like full damage to you, right? Not only that, you have no breather, so you're actually very vulnerable, right? If you have no breather as Roadhog, you're like barely more resilient than a DPS because you're so large. Just running out in the open here is completely not necessary. You just kind of carry the fight by getting 2 picks, right? Okay, so after killing the Tracer, what you really should have done, you can literally just wait right where you are. Or to guard the res, right? Or instead, you can continue pushing through here and try to kill these people because they will not expect it, right? And you can also play around this mega here. And you also have your Brig with you here, right? There's no reason to go and fight this thing. Okay, oh, your Brig died. There's no reason to do this, right? Worst case scenario, you know, look, even if you came here, you could help your Tracer. Worst case scenario, I was about to say, their Hog is already back here. No problem, just back up left side, right? You have the Mega in here, and worst comes to worst, you can stall point or something, or just regroup with your team. You have options. This is like not the worst option. I mean, this is like the worst option. No reason, there's no need to die here at all. Okay. Again, you have also a habit of going the same direction multiple times. If things don't work, it's not really relevant this round, but in the future. If things don't work, just keep swapping what you're doing, right? Look how wide you're peeking this, right? Remember, you don't have the power if he's set up correctly. If he's set up, he shouldn't really be on point. Well, assuming he's on point, he's the most powerful here, right? He can one-shot anyone, and you have to wide peek him all the way over here from your position to one-shot him, right? So make sure you're a lot more careful when you do these things, right? Okay, when you use your hook, your instinct should be kind of get out of harm's way as soon as possible, right? I kind of touched on this earlier with like the damage thing. You can't really trade well damage wise with anyone from this distance, right? You can trade okay with the Hog, obviously, because you're the same character. But like the Iari, the Ashe, even the Tracer are gonna kind of like destroy you from this range, and you won't be able to do much to them. Obviously, you're not getting shot by them. Just like hypothetically. But then you also have to consider the hog has his hook, right? And he's going to be hard pushing you because you can't punish him anymore. Again, let me rewind a bit here. Because you're not playing cover closely here, I want to illustrate how much extra damage you do. So see how you're just in the open and he's actually kind of jiggle peeking? Let me show you from his perspective. See how he's kind of he's not doing it perfectly, but he's kind of shooting and breaking line of sight of view when he doesn't have the chance to shoot, right? Because Roadhog only shoots so quickly. Okay, that was a little odd. He's taking a lot less damage. Compared to you, he's already weak and you're full health. What you really should be doing is something like this, right? This is really important with Roadhog. You can only shoot so quickly, right? So what you want to do, play close to a corner, shoot, keep, shoot, recover, shoot, recover, something like this. Obviously, you can switch it up and not always do the same thing, especially because you already had the health advantage on him, right? But this is just a general thing, right? There's no reason to keep peeking people and just like standing out in the open if you're not guaranteed to kill them, right? Because you're wasting a lot of resources by doing this. You're wasting all your breather, and if they had an angle on you right now and they focus fire you, you'd be much more likely to die if you from just walking straight into them. But if you mix it up a bit, something like this, right? Just played corners so he had a harder time hitting you, right? You're still gonna win the duel and take a lot less damage. Unfortunately, your entire team died here. Your entire team dies because you did not go the correct way, right? This is kind of a positional issue, right? Again, you really want to be, or excuse me, yep. You really want to be controlling this top side because this is kind of like the best, it has the best cover on the point, right? And you also can watch, you have so many different angles you can swap between, right? You're very hard to punish, right? And just stopping the enemy team from taking these power positions is really important on tank. Yeah, unfortunately it's just not winnable. So your entire team died there. Look how much damage you're taking from running in. Remember earlier I said like Roadhog is not good at just running in? You can see right now, you're getting shot by 1.5 people, right? The Roadhog shot you a bit. This Ashe is just blowing you up, right? You really need to like play to look for hooks, right? And imagine if you went this way, right? 1, you could kill this Iari. 2, you could keep assuming you don't kill her or whatever and she backs up. Well, now you have access to here, right? You can start staging a fight from here, right? And then continue pushing this Ashe even further and further away until she's like stuck in this corner and no longer can fight this top and shoot point, right? She has a much harder time of doing so, right? She can obviously no longer shoot top and she's forced to like sit in this really bad angle, right? It's a lot worse than where she is now. I will mention in passing that you kind of had the same problem on the first point, right? You kind of let these people sit in positions where they're going to get a lot of value, right? Especially the Ashe. The first point, she kind of kept destroying your entire team because you weren't like taking positions. I don't know. Okay, here, if people are already point blank as Roadhog, don't hook them unless you need to or you need to like stop a cooldown or you're guaranteed to kill them, right? This Roadhog's full. Hooking him does literally nothing. I mean, you have to rely on your aim at some points, and there's no better time to rely on your aim than against, pretty much the biggest tank in the game, right? He's basically impossible to miss at this range. You really only want to do it to cancel his breather cooldown, and obviously this is different tank to tank, right? Like say for a Winston, if he jumps into you, like literally jumps in, just keep shooting him, and then like count in your head like 6-ish seconds, and then right before that, throw a hook so you can't jump away, and then finish him off, right? Don't just hook him immediately because it gives him an opportunity to come back. If he had a better team lineup, right, or more attentive like Mercy or Yari, he maybe could have lived there because he didn't play that. Okay, this needs to be like an instinct. You just kill 2, you should be walking forward, not backwards, right? No reason to be sitting on point for this long, right? Their entire team's dead. And then once you get 2 there, just immediately start walking.
We need to take out that turret.
Before I go on, that's really important as Roadhog, right? Roadhog's very good at just like perma staggering people, right? Because every time you throw a hook, you have an opportunity to get a kill. If you catch anyone out of position, now they're just, another person's dead and they have to wait another like 10 seconds or whatever to get another fight. So every time you get a kill, you just pretty much buy your team an extra 10 seconds. And it's sometimes that can add up to an entire like lost fight for the enemy team, right? So good hook. I'm sure you can see how much easier it was because he just jumped out in the open, right? Look how easy it was. You see him jump really like far away from the corner, and he's just a super easy hook target here. Okay, so needless to say, don't back into a pulse bomb, but that's all right. Another good hook. Okay, so I think I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to push everyone in the corner, but your resources are too low. You're already at like almost half health, and you have no breather. Really, what you should be doing is trying to LOS this damage as much as possible, play cover as much as possible, so your supports aren't forced to heal you, right? They can do damage, or they can heal your DPS, help your DPS or something in the meantime, right? If you can intermittently peek still if their Ashe starts to peek, play like here-ish or something, just keep peeking every now and then. And then if their Ashe starts to peek, jammer in the corner. But don't just sit here and just trade with this Bob, because you're doing literally no damage, and the Bob's already in the corner, right?
Helden sterben nicht.
Okay, well, he won that round. Okay, this is where you should be going as Roadhog to begin with. I will say on this map in particular, if they have like a rush comp and they're already like here at the doorway or like here-ish, you need to bail from up here and go somewhere else. Roadhog, like I said, not good at just running in and getting value. I'd recommend just walking main and playing the long angle if they have a rush, right? Or you can sometimes get away with coming this way. It's kind of risky though. I think just playing far away and forcing point is ideal in that specific scenario. Otherwise, just play it out up here. Say right here, just throw down a trap, right? You can see they're coming top. You want to throw down trap as early as possible, so you have it again as soon as possible. Okay, so I've noticed one thing you struggle with, small thing, you jump a lot. Jumping takes away a lot of control from your character, right? Because once you jump, you really can't strafe. You're stuck in a parabola in whatever direction you input, more or less, right? So, one, that makes you a lot easier to hit, right? I'm sure you can recall, that Roadhog just jumped in the open, that one fight, the last fight, on the last point, right? It was a really easy hook. Well, that, locking your movement in a predictable path makes you a really easy target. It's super important to use your rank up. It's sometimes okay if you predict that they're going to do something, right? But like just spamming it makes you really, really easy to hit. And two, it locks you in a movement, right? So it exaggerates what you should be doing, right? There's no reason to jump here and fall all the way down here and then, walk all the way back up here. When instead, if you want to bait the Roadhog's hook, you literally play right here, do this, right? And if he starts moving in a predictable path, just peek and hook him, right? Just kind of getting your movement more under control is really going to help. Okay. So this is kind of like the problem I was talking about, like target priority. It's gonna really show itself on this map. It also showed itself on last map, but you can kind of got away with it because you separated the Roadhog so much from his team. The Roadhog just killed someone. In order to turn this fight around, you need to kill someone that's actually killable, which is not the Roadhog, right? He's full health and has all of his resources, right? Instead of looking at the hog here, imagine instead if you just look to the side. Look, this Kiri's jumping, and they're not really paying attention to you, right? I mean, they are a bit, but they know you're not looking at them, right? So they're walking forward. If instead, you look at them and try to hook them, one, they're forced to like run away, or two, what I do, maybe you can't really do this yet. Act like you're looking at the hog, but then you're really looking at the Kiri in your peripheral vision, and you flick to her and one shot her, right? That's the ideal thing to do. It's like the best of both worlds. But really, in plat, like this Kiri's just gonna jump around in the open, so like I'll watch her. Like look her position. I'll watch her POV for like a second or two, right? I mean, she took a really long time to get in a position where she's hard to hit, right? And I'm 99% sure she was not trickle peeking that well, and you could have hooked her around there anyways, based on your angle, right?
Move to the objective.
Okay, fortunately your team somehow wins
Stay out of my way.
this fight. DPS clutch up. Okay, I actually like that you're not the one capping here. You know, their entire team dead. There's no reason to throw the hook this early on this Roadhog, right? If you kept walking forward and try to cut off his exit, look how close it is. If you were just walking forward and chasing him a bit harder, you could have hit it, right? And he's all alone, right? There's no reason to like rush this. If you get the stagger, that's really good for your team because you will pretty much get all the time. It's not a lot of time they have on the clock, right? But you'll get at least that and then some more time back, right? Worst case scenario, you let him go away, which is what happens anyways. But if he decides to fight and hook you, he's suicide. He's just gonna die, so. Okay, this is what I'm talking about, again. Like, think of where they're gonna go and set up there before the fight even starts, right? You know this Ashe has been a problem, especially on the first round, right? And she's gonna try to play the farthest angle possible, which is, if you're all set up on point, that's down here, right? She can just literally sit here for free and spam because she's a mercy pocket, and yours doesn't, right? Really, what you should be trying to do is set up like Hereish, right? You can control this doorway, and you can see if they come main and quickly rotate main, right? And because it's high ground, it takes a long time to get up here, which is the time now, because they're respawning and you kind of lost your window of punishing opportunity. So there's no loss of just walking up here right now. And you can also, this isn't totally necessary. You can predict their Ashe is going to come up here, play here, wait to hear or wait to see her like shooting or something for whatever reason. Turn this corner and get a free hook pick, right? Just anything but standing on point is ideal, especially on this point. On some maps, you have to. Okay, that's a good hook on the Roadhog here, obviously. Okay, small detail. If their hog is jumping, just jump with them. Just body block them. This is a time where it's okay to jump, obviously, because you're not getting shot by them. The only reason he's able to jump above you is because this is slightly higher than this. If you're on the same level, it doesn't happen, but there's like no reason not to jump. Here, your instinct should be to walk forward. You just saw they used Suzu. The hog just used literally all of his breather. Just literally hold W. I mean, not. You can probably get away with literally just holding W until. My point is you gotta keep pushing because they're so low. This guy is half health, has no bailouts, and has no breather, right? I mean, no bailouts. I mean Suzu, right? Your Brig actually has the right call here. Just literally pretty much hold W into him. Just kill him before he has a chance to escape and regroup, right? It's a good kill. So here, bait me into thinking you're about to do the right thing, shoot at the Ashe twice and go straight back to point. But why? You just killed 2 people, right? You have all the time in the world to walk up here, actually force the Ashe away from this angle, or hook and kill her if she decides to, test her luck, right? You do not. This is a big problem you had on the first point. You don't want her just to sit at a good angle for it, right? You're kind of making the same mistake again, damage and cover. You're just jumping around in the open, just giving her ult charge, right? If she's better, what she's really going to do is completely ignore you and shoot your back line, assuming you can accidentally body block him. But even still, she's still getting value. She's still getting ult charge, and you're quite literally doing nothing to her, except distracting her. But if you're not like positively distracting people, you shouldn't really think of it that way, right? I mean, yeah, you're technically eating shots for your team, but again, if she's better, she'd be shooting them, and she's still like winning the exchange, right? Because she's not getting shot by your team either. So. Again, if you have downtime, always throw down a trap. Okay, I like what you do here. You see him through the screen, and you pre-hook him. Unfortunately, it doesn't work, but just a little early. Okay, here, what you need to do, right? You saw them use Bob, and they use Kiri rush this side. What you need to do, just literally walk this way, right? Their hog just uses hook. You can get over here, probably just in time to get out of range, right? And if you are barely not out of range, you can jiggle peek this corner and try to mess them up. Unfortunately, if you go this way, you're 100% dead. So you really need to go this way and try to just ignore the ults, right? If you can get away with just ignoring ults and even giving them point, letting them flip, right? They honestly don't. If they don't win the fight decisively with the ults, they kind of wasted them, right? Because then you can just counter use your ults and just collapse on them on point, right? It's not always going to work out that way. But usually denying ults is the ideal thing to do. Needless to say, hooking the Bob there is not going to do anything. I will also say, if you're positioned in a better spot, you actually wouldn't have got caught. Like, if you went top to begin with, right, you wouldn't have got caught on point in such a bad spot to begin with. Because Ashe wouldn't have been able to bob, and nor would they have been able to Kitsune rush you, right? Just something to keep in mind. I will say, if you're only a little weak, don't use your breather. Let your supports heal. Healing is basically free. I mean, maybe with Brig packs, it's not free. But in this downtime position, right, your Juno, just let your Juno heal you. You don't want to waste your breather, because that means you have extra time before you can peek again. You can't push. This time while the breather's low. Okay, what I see, they're all set up lower, right? The Kiri's over here, their Hog's playing here. Ashe is up here. I don't know where the other player is. You should be going top, right? You want to open up a crossfire with your team. And you don't want to just walk into the line of sight of their entire team, right? They're all looking at you here. You're never going to be able to push through. And I'll also say this Ashe has been a problem all game, right? She was a problem on the first point, and now she's a problem this point again. Again, I watched it, so I don't want to make the video too long. So, right, you should be going top to scare this Ashe away. She's just gonna, especially with the Mercy Pocket, she's kind of free range shooting your team. You have to pressure at the same time your team does, and by going lower and getting spammed out, right, you just cannot do anything about her. I think part of the problem is you're putting way too much target priority into this hog. When he's, again, going to be the hardest person to kill the vast majority of the time. Here, if this hog was better, he would literally just run into you and kill you here. One, he has ult, And 2, his Ashe has killed 2 players. His team can just rush you guys and you will die. Staggers. Okay, yeah, don't do this. 1, you're down players, right? 2, you're already like almost half. 3, you're low on breather, right? And 4, the hog's not gonna die here. He has too much health and he has like all of his breather. And you have no hook to catch him out of the air, right? So he's not gonna die and you're just gonna die instead. Look how much spent. E tier. He could have killed you there. I'm like 99% sure I don't know why he didn't hook you. You could have easily died there. So, unfortunately, you can't kill him here because he's too healthy. He has to be way lower, like literally half the health he is now. To be able to just one-shot him. I guess your team wins as well. Okay. I would not count on that, you know, in the future, but sometimes it does happen, obviously. Can you see those guys up there? You should be thinking of pushing. Yeah, just ignore this Bob, right? Your Brig, actually, funny enough, almost could have just ran off point and LOS the Bob, right? But you gotta bring the Bob to her. Almost get her killed. Really, what you should be doing is seeing if anyone else tries to follow up on the Bob in this position, right? And try to kill them instead. So now you're not really a threat without your hook, and you just wasted half your breather, right? It's okay. It's okay, Chris. See what I mean? The cover usage, there's no reason just to be sitting out in the middle of the point. 1, you have no hook. 2, you know their hog's gonna be back soon. 3, the Bob's shooting you, and you're not like doing any damage in return. If you want to contest point, just do this, right? Just always play cover. Again, same thing. The hog hooks you away from your team, and remember the instinct, right? Just literally don't even fight them. Turn away, look down, hold your self heal until you can run away. Here, you had an opportunity to get off the point and get outside the Kyrie ult, but you decided to keep fighting, right? There's no reason to fight. No one's low, and you're really low on breather. So if you get caught, you're 100% dead. I'm not sure if you're trying to hit the hog or the Kyrie, but regardless, even if you kill the Kyrie, the hog would have instantly killed you afterwards, so.
Come on, let's push him out.
I will say, you've gone lower the past, I think, two or three times, right? Or 2, yeah, this is your 3rd here, I believe. It's not really working well, so you should be looking to switch it up, right? Assume they're going to be set up like they have been because it's been working so well, and try something different. Good hook. Unfortunately, you know, map geometry lets him jump above you again. You kind of have to let the hog go here, even though he's low on breather. I mean, so are you, right? You're low. What you really should be doing, after he hooks you here, just run away, hold down breather, turn away, specifically. At this point, I would be looking to get the Mega, because you're so weak, right? You have no breather, and you want to get, not let your Brig waste all of her packs on you. And then, you can push this Kyrie, right? Right after you get there, right? She's way overextended. You need to get her out, or potentially hook and kill her. Another target priority thing here. Imagine if you were shooting the Kyrie with your team. She would have died here, right? I think the Ashe hits a headshot on her or something. I don't know why she stopped shooting her, but that's she probably barely lost LOS or something. I'm not entirely sure. You might be body blocking her, you know, blocking her view, I should say. If you're shooting her, right, you know, ignore the hog, right? The guy's not gonna die. You gotta look for better targets. And you also make the mistake of pushing with low breather and low health, right? If you're low on resources, don't push. You have to give up space because you will not win the fight. Unfortunately, because you've taken so long, you kind of have to go through this way. Yeah, let the two mobs fight each other. Okay, fortunately you guys get a touch. It's kind of clutch by your tracer. Honestly, here, I would not have pushed this side, right? The hog's this side, which makes it hard to hook past them. There are better targets on this side, right? Unfortunately, you have to play point, but from here, you can hook this Ashe, right? Or at least force her away from this angle to allow your team better access to the point. But assuming you push this hog, maybe you calmed that you had wanted to go with rally or whatever, which I think's a good play as long as you calmed it. I'm not entirely sure what's going on. That works with the speed and whatnot. What you need to do is stop shooting the hog. Look at the Kiri, right? She's literally just jumping in the open, kind of like she was earlier. At the very beginning, look how free of a target she is here. She's not paying any attention to you. She's just heal botting her Roadhog. See what I mean? She's not even shooting. As carry, if you didn't know, you get free kunais between the downtime from healing. She's literally just hard focused on healing her hog when she should be still outputting damage. I'll go a bit further back just to show you just how easy of a target she is here. Okay, wow. You see here? She should be shooting you with a brig in between this, but she's not paying attention. She's just way too tunnel vision on helping her hog. If you killed the carry here, right? This free moment. I'm going back just to highlight this last fight, partially. If you get this kill the carry, and then you can ult the hog here anyways. You have the potential of turning this fight around because your Ashe is killed. And unfortunately, the Kiri also is able to get Alpha Kiri Rush here. Like, I'm not even considering that. It's really not important. It's just from target priority, you should know to go after the Kiri first, right? Okay, so obviously that's the last fight. Actually, there is. No, I don't think I'm going to have more time on the video and go over the first point. Unfortunately, I don't make it too long. Again, I'll reiterate, there were some small things. Hopefully you take note of those. Really, what I want you to work on is mitigating how much damage you take by taking better cover and playing tighter corners. Actually, there is one thing I do want to go back to the first point just to illustrate another point of why it's important to play near corners. At the very, very beginning of the game, I know you know how to turn hook, right? If you played closer to this pillar, like right here-ish, hook this guy in, and hooked him right here, now you body block him, right? By hooking him out here and even rotating him, you can't body block him and stop him from escaping. That's one reason, the biggest reason for playing near cover as hog is mitigating damage. Another really big reason is because you can put people behind corners, more easily block their healing, put them in a worse spot and more LOS of your teammates. Obviously, unfortunately, 2 people in your team died already. And also body block them so they can't get to their team as easily, right? It's one very important reason for playing near cover as hog. Not the primary one, but a very important one. Little details like that make a big difference. Again, second point, I want you to work on your positioning. Think of where the enemies want to set up or where you're the most dangerous and play there. Usually those two coincide quite well, like I showed on the second point on this map, right? Usually there's a good bit of overlap, right? This kind of ties in with the first point, right? Making sure you're playing cover is also very important for positioning, right? You don't want to just be positioned out in the open or whatever or whatnot, or just in the middle of people's teams, or in the middle of your enemy's team, something like that. Third point I really want you to work on is your tiger priority. This first round, second round, it's not like too bad because of the kill pit, right? So you can actually instantly kill the hog a lot, and you also fed a lot. But you also really, really look at the enemy tank way too much, and really in Roadhog, you should only hook the tank to force out cooldowns, or if you have no other choice, right? Win the cooldown exchange, and then you can keep aggressing, right? And eventually, if the tank leaves himself available, you'll kill them. But why take that long when you can just insta-kill someone else, right? There's no reason to make it more difficult than it has to be if you just kill the people that are in squishies that are exposed, right? So I hope this helps. If you have any further questions or you want me to look at the first round more in depth, I can do that too. Or if you have more things, feel free to ask.